Welcome people to my new video. Apologize for my bad English. In this video we'll talk about the Guppy Multiple Moving Average. So this is part 2. I will now demonstrate this in Excel. So you have here, you have the reference. So we will look at the roulette wheel from the point of view from red. You see the spins, and so that's what the dealer really will spin. And so red, red, black, red, 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 black, red, red. Here I created a logical if function. So it just means that if it's red, then it's +1. If it's not red, black or zebra green, it's -1. And so then we get the counter. So here +1. We see red again, so +2. It's now a black, so -1. So +1. So now we see a red again, so +1, it's 2. We see a red again, so +1, it's 3, and +4, 5, 6. We see a black, so -1, 5. Again a red, +1, so 6, 7, 6, and so on. Price movement, some kind of index. And here you see the period. This is actually the one spin chart. And so every period equals one spin. And so this is the first spin, the second spin, the third, all the way to 100. Just an example. And now the whole point about the video. Now we'll calculate these 12 moving averages. And remember this slide in part 1. Guppy looked at 12 different moving averages. The 3 periods moving average, 5 periods, 8, 10, 12, and so on. In red, 6 short-term moving averages, and in blue, 6 long-term moving averages. That's what you see here. Here in red, 6 short-term moving averages, and here 6 in blue long-term moving averages. So in part 1 I showed you the simple moving average, but I told you I will explain how to get the exponential moving average, because Guppy used the exponential moving average. This is the way to calculate it. Some steps: you take the close price, you subtract from this exponential moving average from the previous period. Then you multiply this by m as some kind of multiplier, a weight, and you add to this, the exponential moving average from the previous period. M is 2 divided by n plus 1. That's the weight. N is the number of values. Here you see an example, and let's say at some point exponential moving average from the previous period is 100, and the current price and the current closing price is 102. So it went up by 2%. This is a 2% increase. Now suppose for you that this current closing price is 100% important. Nothing else is important. So all the historical data, all the moving averages you calculated is 0% important. So that's why m is then 1, right? 100%, so 1. The close price minus exponential moving average from the previous period plus exponential moving average from the previous period to cancel each other out, and you're left with the closing price. The new or the current exponential moving average always will equal the current close or the current closing price. Then you just get the price movement. So you cannot do this. You will say, okay, the close price or the closing price is 90% important, and maybe 10% the historical data, or 80% and 20% historical data. Or you will say the close or closing price is 20% important for me. But when you calculate, the exponential moving average, you cannot choose. It's this formula. It's 2 divided by n plus 1. And n is the number of values. And if we include 5 periods and 5 values to calculate the average, then the weight is 2 divided by 6. 5 plus 1, 2 divided by 6. the higher the number of values, and so the higher the n here, and the higher the n, the lower m, the lower the impact or the lower the weight. So now let's calculate the 3 periods moving average. You start somewhere, so we calculate the average of these 3 values, and that's the average of these 3 values. And then we will calculate the new exponential moving average. So remember, the close and the current close minus the here exponential moving average from the previous period, this here, right? And we multiply this, and that was step 2, and you multiply this by 2 divided by 4, right? And then step 3 was you add to this the exponential moving average from the previous period. Bang. Okay? So this is this new exponential moving average. So the close price minus, and you subtract from this the exponential moving average from the previous period. That's this here. Remember, you multiply this by 2 divided by 4 and 50%. You add to this the previous exponential moving average from the previous period. Bang. So here you have the another example. We will calculate now the 5 periods moving average. And so you look now at 5 periods and these 5 values. And so you start somewhere, so you just take the average from these 5 values, and here and we start to calculate it, and we use the formula, and so the current closing price minus the exponential moving average from the previous period. And remember, we multiply now by 2 divided by 6, and because we look at 5 values, 2 divided by 6, 2 divided by 6, and we add to this again the exponential moving average from the previous period. So I'm not going to bore you guys, and you can do this for the 8 periods moving average, for the 10 here at 10 periods moving average, and it starts here, and for the 12 periods moving average, and it starts here, you know, and so on. And then, okay, I did this. These are all the results, all the moving averages. So I'll show you here, here you see 6 short-term moving averages, and here in blue the 6 long-term moving averages, right? You see it goes up, then a little consolidation, goes up again, and then, you know, maybe here something will change. If there is a wide separation between the short-term moving averages and the long-term moving averages, then this is an indication of a strong trend. If there is a narrow separation or some crisscrossings, then it's or a weak trend or consolidation. And then trend reversals. This is bullish reversal. So first the short-term moving averages and the 6 lines. Here you see 1 line, but there are 6 lines actually. So the 6 short-term moving averages are first below the long-term moving averages, and then later they are above the blue line. And that's a bearish reversal. So this, people, you know, is and it's right. This is you know, how professional people trade and how professional people play casino games. And we try to detect trends, reversals, consolidation, and so on.